Okay, so welcome back to the second stage. Is it second stage? No, the third stage of the work in string art making. So now I told you I'm going to show you. I hope you've drawn something and you've nailed the shape out. The next thing now will be to string it. Please just try. Take it one step at a time. It's not difficult at all. You will see the benefit of this at the end of after we're done making this. I'll tell you a few other things you can do. You know, you have a friend that has a birthday, you don't know what gift to give them. You can make a string art of the name. Maybe you put a name and then draw a heart shape or something and present it to them. You have a lot of space on your wall and you want to make something nice just to cover it up. You can use string art. Let me show you something on my wall, just right behind me there. You see that up there? I have two string art with my picture in the middle of it. It just made it so much beautiful. Okay, that is what string art does. It's very easy to make and you just love it at the end of the day. So for this piece, I'm thinking of using a red. You think I should use a red? You see I like red too much, right? I'm putting on a red already. Okay, let me choose another color here. Okay, let me go with a purple. Royal purple, right? Okay, let me use this one. So why you need a scissors is here. Your scissors comes in handy right here. Scissors here. So what you need to do is pick your piece up. Okay, I'll place it like this so you can see. You can start from any angle for this basic design. Okay, it's when you're doing something more complex that you have to take note of the angle you're starting your art from, your piece from. Okay. And then we're not going to worry about the pattern our thread is going for now because it's just the basics. Later on, when you're trying to do something more complex, then you can worry about the pattern. For example, this one has no particular pattern, but this one, if you take note, it is threaded in a particular pattern. Okay, so for now, don't worry about the pattern. So I'll go ahead to pick any random nail and just tie this. You want to form a loop. Okay. Tie this round it. You want it to be sturdy, to be firm, okay? You can tie it a second time so it doesn't just go out. So it's a bit firm. Push it to the bottom of it, okay? Now, how do I say this? You can push it to the bottom if you want to put a lot of thread because you need more space and that's why you're starting from the bottom. But if you just want to do something very sketchy, something simple, you don't need to put it at the bottom. You can the tied knots can be at the middle of this nail like this. Okay? So to start, you can just connect this with, you have to hold this rope quite firm. Let me put my thread here so it easily comes out. Most times you can just throw it anywhere, it will roll on its own and just come to you when you need it. So you hold this part. You need this extra part. You will need this extra part later. I'll explain how you handle that later. So, but let's start first. So you can just take this and connect it to any other nail. Now you can see this. Connect it to any other nail. Make sure it's firm. Now on that nail, you want to roll it so that it will not easily just go out of your grip. Always hold on to this part of the rope very firm. Now you can just go to any other nail, go round again, go back to any other nail, just roll it, another nail, you roll it. Can you see what I'm doing? This, your left hand, if you're a right-handed person, your right hand should be the main hand holding the thread, okay? If you're a left-handed person, your left hand should be the main hand holding the thread, and then your right will just help you to guide the thread. Then if you're right-handed, your left will help you to guide the thread. You take the next one, you roll it. Just once. Take the next one, you roll it. Just randomly, okay? Take the next one, another one, you can just jump down here. You roll it. Okay? Then just keep going until you're sure that you have touched all of the nails. Just keep going until you've touched every nail, you've wrapped every nail there is. I'm just going to be a bit faster. Take your time. Might be a bit tricky holding on to your thread for when you start. Okay, now you have to take note of something, okay? When you're threading, you don't want to jump here. If I bring my thread here, you notice that it's going to change the pattern I'm making. So you have to stay within the pattern. Stay inside. So you have to be inside. Don't do this. You come out of the pattern. Stay inside. Wherever direction you're going, you should be inside the pattern, okay? You don't want to change the shape of your piece or the pattern you're making with a mistake. So I think, okay, I still have a few more nails to wrap. You can see the piece already coming to life. We're not done yet. Okay, which other nail? Okay, we've got this one. Okay, I have almost all of them filled, wrapped. So I'll just do this one to catch this one. And then down to this very last layer. Okay, now I have covered all of the nails. Let me be sure. Yes, I've covered all of the nails. The next thing to do is to just change a pattern so you can double up, okay, to fill up more spaces. The more thread you have, now the more highlighted your piece will be, okay? If you notice the ones I have on my left and my right, the more thread you have, the more highlighted your piece will be. So we just want to go more rounds. Pick up new, thread new, connect them. Okay, now when you've done this, I think it's a bit more thick. For the sake of this lesson, I'm going to stop here. I will not go further, but you can fill it in as much as you want, okay? The more you fill in the space in between, okay, the more highlighted your piece will be. I'm going to show you other things you can do. For example, if you notice this board on my right is white, while this one is black, you can still spray the board before you go on, but all those are going to be in the basic lesson. But for now, you just maintain it here. Now, to wrap up your work, to make the shape a bit more highlighted, you can just roll through all the edges like this. Now, instead of going zigzag, we're going to go round the edges. So from here, starting from where you are at the edge, just roll this, wrap the next one. Just follow through on the edge like that. Follow through on the edge. You notice I'm using my finger to control the thread to help it go down as far as I want. Just keep wrapping through. You notice that the edge is coming to life. you want to try as much as possible to make sure your thread doesn't tangle, because if it tangles, then you have to end your work and start at another point. But we're trying to use one thread all through, like one length all through. Okay, so you keep doing this. You're almost done. Just keep going around. You can draw a very small shape, okay, so you don't have to spend so much time. It stresses the arm a bit if you're not used to it. If you're doing it for the first time, your arm could hurt. Okay, so you can just make sure your piece, your drawing is small. So we keep wrapping, and we're almost at the where we began. Yes. Do you notice a difference? Do you notice a difference? It is very clear. Our diagram is now more pronounced. You can see it's more highlighted, okay? So we can even go further by going back. Now, from where we started, all we need to do is go back like this. My neck is already hurting. I'm not used to doing it on the floor like this. It's good you have a table, just use a table too. Now this is what will happen when we go back. Do you see what happens when we go back? We are doubling the edge, okay? So we keep doubling the edge like that. If you went clockwise, you go anti-clockwise. If you went anti-clockwise, you go clockwise now. So we are going anti-clockwise because we went clockwise before. And we are almost there, and the last one, and we are done. Do you see even more difference now? Like it is more obvious what the shape is. If you took notes, when we first drew it, it's just looking, what's this? And we put the nails like, okay, it's coming up, and now it is out, okay? And that is the beauty of string art. Now, what you want to do to end this beautiful piece is to get your thread back to where you began. So you bring the thread all the way. If you can't come through, and you can just bring it all the way, wrap it once, hold it tight, get your scissors, cut the end of it, just because a very good amount of space for you, and you tie. But make sure you're holding on to it very tight every moment, because once you let it go, even a bit, you're going to start afresh. I'm just kidding. But you have to go back and start from a very, very, very long place. So you don't want to do that because it's a bit stressful, right? And you don't want to lose the work you've done. Okay? So we tie this. Again. Tie it twice, so it's going to be firm. Now, it is tight. Our work is done. You don't need this bit because it is not going to make your piece look fine, having it hang around. So use your scissors again. You want to cut to the very end of the rope, but not to the very, very end. How do I say it? You want to cut very close to the end, so you don't have so much of the rope left. Okay, so like that, you have that tiny bit left there. I don't know if you can see it, but you have that tiny bit left. You don't want that. And that is where our lighter comes in. If you know you're not going to be careful enough, please use a matchstick. I don't have matchsticks here. I would have tried using that now, but if you know you're not going to be careful enough, just use a matchstick. Light it, let it burn a little. When the fire goes out, okay, you can put out the fire. You put out the fire, you can just use it to tap on the edge of this. It is just going to melt the thread and push it inside. So it's melted and there's no option of getting loose. I'm just going to go on to use my lighter, and if you're using a lighter, make sure the fire is low, the lowest of it. You just tilt it a bit. You want just the fire to touch a little, and you use your finger to press it in, and that is the end of this piece. So what am I going to call this piece? I would like you to make suggestions of the title of this piece down under this video, okay? And if you have questions, please go on to ask the questions. In the next video, I can answer your questions, or I can answer your questions in the comment section of this video. I want to see your beautiful design. Show me what you've made, okay? If you've made a piece, if you're able to use this video to make a piece, if this video helped you to learn how to make the basic this video helps you to get the basic of string art, and you're able to design something, I would love to see. I'll put a link to my Instagram page here, okay? So just go on, post on your Instagram handle or your Facebook handle and tag me, especially Instagram, okay? Just go on Instagram, post it on your page, tag me at craftify.com.ng and at afrocraft_. I'll put the links down there, so just go on, tag me, and now if I see it, I like it, I will repost on my page. Just tag, say, I learned from at craftify.com.ng or at afrocraft, and I'm going to repost your piece. Thank you so much, guys. I want to hear your questions and feedbacks. Ta-da!